This is a SnapEd New York video presentation.
Oh, my name is Kim, and I work with Cornell Cooperative Extension. I'm with our SnapEd program, and our job is to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy, which is what we're going to be doing today while we put together our grain ball. I'm going to be talking about MyPlate, which you can see right here. MyPlate is a good visual for how to set up a meal. Some people might look at that and think, okay, those are the different food groups, but it really is more than that. It's to give you an idea of how much you should be eating throughout the day. All right, I'm going to go grab my brown rice, and I'll be back in just a second. I cooked that up before the session because it does take about 45 minutes to cook the rice. So when I do cook it, I like to make a big batch of it, and then I keep it throughout the week. And you can put it into different things. So if I was making this for dinner, we might have some brown rice with chicken and broccoli. And then the next day I'll put together a dish like this, a little grain bowl with some eggs, which is what we're going to be making today. So I've got my bowl with brown rice. Hopefully you guys can all see that there. Now, the reason why you want to choose a whole grain is because refined grains are going to give you a spike in your blood sugar. So a refined grain has that like protective fiber that's taken off of it. That's why white rice is white and brown rice is brown, is because that protective fiber, that outer layer, is taken off for a refined grain. And you're just left with sort of a starchy center. And that digests in your system much like sugar does. So you get a big blood sugar spike and then you come down and you're hungry again. So whole grains are great for maintaining weight, but they also still contain a lot of the phytochemicals and vitamins and minerals that are stripped off when you get a refined grain. So that's why grain bowls are great, because there's all different types of grains you can choose from, and you can make it all different ways. You can make it savory, which I'm going to be doing today, or you can make it sweet, say some steel cut oats with some fruit and things like that. Maybe add a little peanut butter for that lean protein. And grains also have gotten kind of a bad rap because everybody's talking about carbohydrates and cutting carbs and net carbs and low carbs. But carbohydrates really are in almost everything, so they are hard to avoid. And it's really a matter of making good decisions on which grains to choose and which carbohydrates to choose. So the carbohydrates you get from your fruits and vegetables, I don't even think about those. Those are mainly micronutrients that I'm getting from my fruits and vegetables. The macronutrients, carbohydrates, healthy fats, and protein. The carbohydrates you're going to be getting mainly from grains. So that's why you want to choose good whole grains. And this is just an introductory session. So stay tuned for the rest of the month. Every Friday at noon, we're going to be doing a lunch and learn. And while we do that, I'm going to do a deep dive into some of these different food groups, and grains are going to be one of them. And I can tell you whole grains is one of my favorite topics, so stay tuned for that one. That's towards the end of the month. All right, for now, we're going to move on. I am going to add my vegetables in here. So let's start with our onion. Onions are a good source of potassium, and they also have some vitamin C in them, which is important for this dish because that vitamin C helps you to absorb the iron that's going to be in your spinach and your eggs. So I just cut the tip of it off. If you're doing this with an onion, it's the same thing. You just take that tip of it off and cut it off. And then that kind of like hairy end, I keep on the end of it there. And you do the slices like I just did. And now I'm just going to cut it down. This is a shallot, so it's a little bit smaller than an onion. Another thing to keep in mind if you're doing an onion, anytime you're cutting with a sharp knife like this one, you want to have a flat surface. So before you do anything, you want to cut the onion in half and then put that flat surface down on your cutting board. Then you can cut the end off and slice it up. There we go. So my shallot is complete and ready. And then I have some garlic. Garlic, along with the onion, adds flavor, and it's a great immune booster. Just want to kind of smack it down like this. just use that flat end of your knife. Give it a couple of smacks. And when you do that, it comes right off. The peel comes right off. And I think we can all agree adding that extra onion and garlic or any foods that are great immune boosters is something that we're all thinking about after the last couple of years that we've had. So now I'm just going to give it a quick chop. You can see my left hand, because I'm left-handed and I'm using the right hand with my knife, stays like a claw like this. And then I kind of chop in front of it and keep my thumb back. And that keeps me from cutting my fingers. So I'll just give it a nice rough chop. And the garlic is ready to go. All right, now I have a red pepper. Now, here's a fun fact a lot of people don't know about red peppers. A red pepper has more vitamin C in it than an orange does. So they're another great way to add flavor and get nutrients. When you're cutting a pepper, you just want to start from the top and make your way down. This is all I'm going to use for this dish today, so I'm going to save the rest of it. But you can see I just kind of cut around the white. So you would just do that all the way around. And you want to cut all the way down to the bottom. And then when you're finished, you just have the stem and that core and the seeds left. So there's very little waste. It's an easy way to cut a pepper up. I'm going to put a little bit of healthy olive oil down to cook them in. I like to make sure every meal I'm including all of my macronutrients. Again, that's your carbohydrates, your fat, and your protein. So that little bit of oil helps contribute to our healthy fats. Oops. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper too. There we go, just a pinch of each. Ah, I love the sound of that. Okay, so we've got our warm rice over here that just came out. And then I'm going to throw the flavor adding vegetables in. And then I'm going to do the spinach and the eggs together. Now, varying your protein routine and finding lean sources of protein is also important. Protein is important for muscles, for blood, for cartilage, for hormones. Just about everything in your body is going to need that protein. So it's really important to make sure you're getting enough of it and you're getting lean sources. So whether you're vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, an omnivore, or carnivore, it's good to be knowledgeable about the different types of protein so that you can make the best decisions for your lifestyle. And again, this is just an introductory session. So I will be doing a deep dive into proteins later in the month too. Today, we're going to talk about our eggs. I'm going to crack one egg in here. Eggs are one of my favorite sources of protein because they're affordable. They're about 10, 15 cents an egg. And don't want to get any eggshell in there. I'm going to do an egg white to go along with that one egg yolk. I'm going to talk about that in just a second here. So yeah, they're inexpensive way to get lean protein. And those egg yolks, I don't want to cut those out. A lot of people have been cutting out egg yolks too. That's another big thing that's going on. And that's because it does have some fat in it, but it has healthy omega-3 fats. So they're a good source of fat. They're not they do have some saturated fat, but not a significant amount at all. So depending on your lifestyle, again, everybody is different for what they need. I did some muscle building activities this week. So I do want a little extra protein. So I'm going to get that egg yolk. It's got all the vitamins and minerals. It's got B12. It's got all kinds of stuff that the egg white does not have. So I want to make sure it's got all of those in it. You can see I just mixed in my peppers, onion, and garlic. That's going to flavor that rice right up. So again, with the eggs, I'm going to make sure I've got at least one egg yolk, and then I'm going to whisk it with an extra egg white to get that extra source of protein too. But another way I like to make eggs is I'll make some avocado toast and do a fried egg on top of it. A fried egg is good in a rice bowl because if you keep the yolk runny, that kind of gives you a little bit of sauce down there. I'm going to scramble my eggs today, though. And another way to do this is to make an omelet. Again, you can keep a couple of egg whites to go with one egg yolk so that you're getting those nutrients and that omega-3 healthy fats. And then you can stuff it full of veggies. So it's a great way to get extra veggies on too. All right, I'm going to throw my greens down. Most of us do not get enough leafy greens in our day. I encourage everyone, try and get it at least once a day. So whether you like a salad or you saute it the way I am today, however you may like to get your greens, try to incorporate them into at least one meal a day. Every day. All right. And that looks like a lot. I know it's probably about 2 cups. And what I have here is a mixture of spinach and baby kale, because that is pretty hearty when you saute it. Like some lighter greens, like maybe an arugula or a lettuce, isn't going to hold up as well. They're better for a salad. But the spinach and the kale work really well. And when you cook it, it cooks down to nothing. So take a couple of cups because it's going to cook down. You won't even know it's in there. I season my eggs with some salt and pepper. Now I'm going to throw those on with my greens. So we're going to have lots of micronutrients from the different colored veggies. That's another thing is you want to make sure half of what you're eating throughout the day are fruits and vegetables. You can see that on the MyPlate. And then you want to make sure that you're eating the rainbow too. That's because all of those different colors have different nutrients in them. So between the reds and the greens and the white from the onion and garlic, we're getting all kinds of phytochemicals and antioxidants and nutrients. That egg white needs to cook just a little bit longer. Almost done now. All right. So that is going to go on top now. Just going to move this skillet out of the way. So we've got just about everything in there, right? But to make this a complete MyPlate meal, I have a couple of other things I'm going to add. This is yogurt sauce. I keep this in my refrigerator all the time. I make it like once a week. It works great as salad dressing if you add a little extra olive oil, but it's also a really great replacement for sour cream. So what it is 1 cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt, a tablespoon of olive oil, and then I take half of a lemon and squeeze that in, and some salt and pepper. And this week I had some fresh dill in my refrigerator that I wanted to use up. So I put the fresh dill in there as well. You can see the dill. And then I also put a couple of cloves of garlic in there. My son always says the more the garlic, the more the better. So our family, we put garlic in almost everything. And so that extra garlic gives it a little flavor. So I really like this yogurt sauce because, like I said, it replaces that sour cream, or can be used as a salad dressing. If you add extra olive oil to it, it'll come out a little bit runnier. And it just adds a lot of flavor instead of the sour cream. And it also gives you an extra boost of protein and, of course, calcium, which is why we like to include dairy into a couple of our meals in the day. Now, if you don't like dairy or if you can't have dairy, that's fine. There's lots of other ways to get calcium. But if you do, this is a great way to include it. So I'm going to dollop that on top of my eggs and my rice bowl. A couple of scoops there. And then I have some mango chutney. That's going to round out my MyPlate and add a little fruit in there. Mango chutney, I like to keep this in my refrigerator. This I just bought jarred. I didn't make this myself. But I keep a jar of it in my refrigerator because it's got some heat to it and it's sweet. So it always adds some good flavor. And then the yogurt sauce, if you make the yogurt sauce instead of dill, you put some curry in it or some turmeric and ginger. It goes really well with this mango chutney. But this is going to have so much flavor in one little bite. And then one last thing, I'm going to add some toasted sesame seeds because they have a nice toasty taste to them. And they are part of the protein also. So you're getting a little bit of extra protein, a little bit of extra healthy fats from those sesame seeds. All right, so let me hold that up. Hopefully you can see it. You got the rice as a base with those flavorful veggies. We've got eggs mixed in with the greens, and then some yogurt and mango chutney, topped off with some sesame seeds. Let's see. I'm going to take one bite that's got everything on it. So good. And that mango chutney's got a little heat to it too. So that dish hits all of the flavors. It's got all of our macronutrients because we've got the healthy fats from the omega-3s and the egg and the olive oil, a little bit in the sesame seeds. It's got the protein from the eggs. And then, of course, the carbohydrates, which give our body energy and give us what we need. That's going to help fill us up in this dish and keep us full, along with the proteins and the fats. So a meal like this will last me for a good 4 hours or so, depending on my day. And that's what you want to look for, is something that's packed with nutrients. It's going to be nutrient dense in comparison to, say, making like an egg sandwich. It's got those whole grains in it, so it's going to keep me full longer. And some other ways that you can do this is you can add different herbs and flavors to it. Different herbs also add some antioxidants, but you can use different sources of protein too. Sometimes I'll make a salmon bowl. Another inexpensive one is to get some jarred tuna and season that up, and you can add that on top. If you have leftover meat, leftover chicken, leftover steak that you want to use up, but you don't have enough to make for dinner the next day, making a grain bowl like this is another great alternative. So that is it for me today. But I encourage everybody to start practicing and playing around, because the great thing about grain bowls is not only are they low in calorie and nutrient dense, you can add all different types of flavors and protein and grains to them, whatever you prefer, because that's the most important thing, is making it something that you're going to like. Be sure to go to snapedny.org for more tips, tricks, and recipes. And remember, everything you eat over time matters. So check in with me. Let me know if you have any questions. And be sure to tune in next week. I'll be here at noon next week. We'll do a deep dive into fruits and vegetables and how to save money year round and make sure you're getting what you need, even when we live in New York, upstate New York. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.
This is a SnapEd New York video presentation.